So I realized that we never actually got a chance to talk about this together, but I peer pressured you into watching one of the best Netflix shows ever, Dairy Girls, and I need to hear all of your thoughts and feelings about that show.
Wasn't prepared for bringing this up, but I'm there.
Okay.
The star.
Oh, I know.
Star.
Yeah, no questions.
What the heck is her name?
Sister Michael! Which is even funnier because you're like, wait, why are you Michael and not like Mary Patrick Gallagher or something?
Why aren't you Sister Act?
Why are you Sister Act?
I wish I had Sister Michael as a nun because the super type A class president girl who's really annoying before every assembly goes up and sings.
Jenny. Her name is Jenny.
Jenny. And Sister Michael is always like, well, we know why those famous people sing and you don't. I'm like, whoa! It's just so good.
Wait, did you see the one where they're like trying to sneak off to the concert?
Yes.
And they're on the bus with Sister Michael.
Yes.
And so there's like a scene of Sister Michael sitting on the bus and she's reading The Exorcist and she's laughing hysterically.
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh my god! She's literally reading it and she's just like laughing hysterically, and then like whoever is sitting next to her is like eating some weird sandwich, and then she like gets annoyed and like leaves and like goes. Did you watch all the episodes yet?
I watched all of them, but I didn't catch that she was like reading The Exorcist.
It was literally The Exorcist. It was so funny. I was like, this is amazing. I love this lady.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop. Sisters, 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 sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, listeners.
How we doing?
How we doing? We're ready to go.
Wait for it. Hey, you guys!
Yes! I was like, who's gonna say it? Who's gonna say it? Bridget said it.
I said it.
Yes. Hey, you guys.
You creep? You sound creepy.
Sorry, that was the scary version. All right, let me introduce ourselves so you know what, who, what, where, when, and why is happening. So we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And hey, you guys! That was better, right? Not as scary.
That was way better. Way better.
And I've got that deep voice. I can do a good imitation.
What's our movie, Kate?
Our movie this week is The Goonies. Goonies never say die.
Do love for you, it's good enough. For me, it's good enough.
Is it good enough, or is it good love?
I was hoping that I mumbled it enough that you couldn't tell, and then you just asked me.
I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
All right, well, I don't know the answer either, but apparently in that song, she yells Goonies. Did you know that?
Oh, the Goonies are good enough.
Wait, what?
That's the name of it.
No way.
That is the name of it.
That's crazy, Cindy. Good for you, honey. Earn that paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, me oh my. Who's gonna synopsis this up?
Well, it don't matter to me. I could do it. You could do it.
I think you can do it.
All right. So. We've got the Goonies.
You're sticking with this voice, huh?
Okay, well, so this is a movie It's hard to describe a movie that you think every person on the planet has seen.
Yeah.
But this movie is basically about, we're in this small town. It's like a seaside town. And in the very beginning, it's like starts off a little serious, guys. We're in like a jail and we think somebody just committed suicide. But then don't worry, Sister Act style excited music starts playing. JK, we're doing a jailbreak. And now it's fun and exciting. Wow, what a great time.
Wow.
Then, so these like felons, the Fratellis.
Oh my, and not the Monmouth County pizza joint that we kept afloat for years.
Not the Fratelli's pizza place in Red Bank, New Jersey. So they're these felons and they basically busting out one of the guys. It's like two brothers and a mom. And so then there's this whole chase in the beginning. And as this whole chase is going on, you get to see like all the different characters that you're going to be hanging out with the whole movie for the most part. And so the characters include, I would say the main character is Mikey, who is this little, I don't know how old we are, but I'm thinking middle school.
Yeah.
So we've got Mikey. He has an older brother named either Bran or Brand or Brant. And I don't know which of the three.
Brand. Like,
with a D?
A marketing brand.
He's a marketing brand. Well, I mean, he could be, because we love Josh Brolin. Anyway, they're brothers. Okay, Brand is older. He's like high school. Then we've got some of Mikey's friends. Mikey's got a cast of character friends that call themselves the Goonies. Y'all ever heard of the Goonies? Now you're gonna hear about the Goonies. We got Mouth, Corey Feldman. And can I just say, Bridget's theory on people play themselves in movies? Corey Feldman played himself in this movie. So that was perfect casting. He just kind of talks a lot and is annoying. So that was Mouth. Then we've got Chunk, who like deserves an Oscar for his performance because he is probably the best character in this movie.
I am so happy to hear that.
He's the best character.
Rewatching it, I'm like, he made this movie.
He's the funniest character.
I gotta check if he got some awards.
Yeah, please.
We gotta check this out.
Or like, where are you now? Chunk, where are you now? I miss you.
I did read about where he is now.
Where is he?
Never acted again, but became like a lawyer, and he's still in the movie entertainment business, and he's like killing it at his own firm. So he's still in the movie business, he just doesn't act, and he does not look like if you look up a picture of him now, doesn't look like his old self at all.
Okay,
there is no Chunk in him anymore.
If there was ever more motivation for this podcast to take off and become famous, that's one of them, because if this podcast goes big and we get some movie stuff, we can meet Chunk. So let's add that to the list of people we need to somehow get connected with.
I love that.
All right, so that's Chunk. We love him, and his nickname is Rude, but I guess it's because he honestly, he's not that big. Like,
everybody is fatphobic forever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just trying to get over it, and it's like 40 years later.
His stereotype is, I like food, which, like, again, I mean, so does the rest of us. And he's like, I'm a little clumsy and like whatever, but he's the best character, so don't forget. Then we've got Data, who is an Asian American stereotype, hardcore. And again, this kid, he was in, did you ever see Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones?
Yeah, yes.
He's like the same character in there. I'm like, wait, why are you only that? Like, I don't... It's a shame. 80s Steven Spielberg, do better.
Do better.
So his whole thing is like, I like inventions. And like, I talk in not great English, and that's my joke. And you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. But he's nice, I guess. So we like him. So that's the Goonies. And then the other like main people, or who end up becoming people, are these two girls. One of them is named Andy, which is short for something. And she's like, she, in the beginning, which I don't know why my brain does not remember this beginning scene where like the car chase is happening and you're seeing all the characters. Did you see in the beginning where it was like football practice and Andy's like, all right, girls, we're gonna do a pyramid? And I was like, am I watching can't buy me love.
I know.
Is this Cindy? Because she ain't participating because she's probably the worst cheerleader on the team. Okay, 80s. So that's Andy. And like her and Brand are going on a date Friday night, but Brand didn't get his license. So embarrassing, everyone. This is a plot thread. I don't understand why and no one gets it, but it is. So, wow. And then there's some other girl who I don't know her name. Okay. I don't think anyone ever says it, but basically she's the third wheel that I think is gonna have sexual relations with Mouth, and I am concerned about the ages, so...
1000% her character name is Steph.
Do they ever say that?
They never say it.
They never say it. Okay.
But I keep interrupting your synopsis, I'm sorry, but did you see in the beginning when each character is being introduced what she was doing when they introduced
Was she like taking a bath? Like what was going on? She was in water. What was going on?
Instead of like bobbing for apples, she like pulled out a crab. Did you see that?
In her mouth? What?
Not with her hand, but like she put her whole head in and then she like whipped her hair out all wet and then she like literally had a giant crab in her hand and threw it behind her and you could tell it was like a fake crab. And I was just like, what is happening? You know, like she must have gotten the script and be like, this is the worst part ever. Why do I do all the things I do? I hate everything. I'm gonna try to make it work.
She literally I just wrote, I was like, here's the third wheel, friend. I'm confused why she's here, but we're here. So at least we got two girls instead of one or none, I guess. I don't know. Who knows?
Literally, Roger Ebert, when he gives the Goonies synopsis, is like, and then there's two women in the film whose only jobs are to have bats in your hair and to swap spit.
God. Well, Steph doesn't technically kiss anyone, but like, again, it got close and I was nervous.
Oh, I know.
I was sweating. I was like, this is illegal. There's cops around. Watch out. Okay. All right. So this is our ragtag team of peeps. They call themselves the Goonies. The little kids do. And then I guess the older kids get adopted as Goonies, as you do when you go on magical treasure hunts to save your family's home from foreclosure the day before. It's so common, everyone. I mean, we've all been there, you know, like we've all gone up in the attic and found all these secret treasure maps and we've all done it. Also, that scene where they go up there, Brand is like, he literally goes up and he goes, wow, I never knew there was this stuff up here. I was like, Brand, do you live here? What's happening? Why don't you ever go in the attic?
They literally, so Steven Spielberg wrote the story, I believe.
I thought Chris Columbus wrote it.
I don't know. It basically said story by Steven Spielberg, so.
Okay.
But literally the only thing that like made sense of why all that weird stuff was in the attic, they're like, our dad runs a museum. And you're like, yeah, good try, because someone just threw that out there being like, how do we make all this work? I don't know, let him work in a museum at this random town that nobody goes to and we don't make any money and now you're a museum owner. Okay. I just was like, this is weird.
Yeah. So the whole plot, I'm not doing a great synopsis.
I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. I'm just, again, like my heart is just assuming we've all seen this movie.
Yeah.
But basically the whole plot of the movie is these kids are like, we have this delusional idea that we're going to follow this treasure map that we literally just found and it's in another language, but don't worry, Mouth speaks Spanish and nobody's going to ask questions why Mouth speaks Spanish. We're just going to go with it because his nickname is Mouth and I guess that explains it. And we're going to go find this treasure, but as they run and go find this treasure, they run into the felons. The Fratelli felons.
Oh, mi amore.
Yeah. He's a good singer. I was like, you're all right.
So
you're
random.
Right. But they basically run into them and they discover that, this like place that they're hiding out in, that's where like the entrance is to this cave and we have to go in there. So then it kind of turns into a whole chase where the felons start to then chase the kids and it turns into this kind of like, we're running away, but we're also like on a treasure hunt. There's like booby traps. Booby traps.
That's what I said.
Who cares? They're traps. Watch out. Don't touch nothing. All right? We got some of those. We got some dead people. There's like a lot of dead people.
A lot of skeletons.
Although there were not as many Party City skeletons.
Terminator should have taken a hint from this movie that had authentic Party City skeletons.
I agree. These were good-looking skeletons, you know. They didn't have the tags on. It was good choice, good choice. And then basically they end up finding treasure. Oh my god. And also there's this really great guy whose name is Sloth that everyone's afraid of because he looks different. But he's nice. So like... we love him. Him and Chunk develop a bromance.
Like we've never seen.
Then at the end of the movie, Chunk adopts him. Without asking his parents. He adopts a man. He tells him he's gonna live with him.
Out of all of our movies, between like Beetlejuice, where you're ghost parents, and then Terminator, your adopted robot parent, this tops the cake of adopting. What are we calling him? What is happening with Sloth?
He just has like physical deformities.
But he seemed, was he Forrest Gump, as we talked, intellectually disabled, as you educated me?
Potentially.
Because he was dropped on his head. That's what we got.
Yes.
He got dropped on his head twice. And then they chained him to a wall. The 80s were dark, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that scene, because I remember my notes, like, being like, ha ha, and then being like, oh, like, just got real. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, super dark.
Yeah. So, Sloth is there, Sloth and Chunk are best friends, and then they basically help save the day, and whatever, the kids escape, and at the end, we get to save the houses. I hope it's more than one, because I don't know, we just only had one person being confronted with the foreclosure signing situation at the end, but we're saved by the power of 4 to 8 jewels in a bag. So I hope those cost a house. I kind of feel like they don't, but like we're just gonna go with it.
The other thing I thought of at the end, where you see the pirate ship going, I'm like, just go get the gold.
That's what I thought. I was like, wait,
just go get it. This doesn't seem like a lot. Go get the gold.
I very genuinely remembered the ending being like all the kids get on the beach and then whatever, and then the police come, and I really remembered it being like Sloth was like steering the pirate ship, and then he like brought it to the shore. And then that's what saved everyone. But no! The ship sails away.
No, your ending is 10 times better.
Yeah,
you
because like then we have
ending.
the gold and not just like 8 little jewels. You know, if you bring those jewels to a pawn shop, they're gonna be like, best I can do is $25. How am I gonna make a profit if I give you full price?
I'm thinking this is pretty princess rubies right here. I'm not thinking this is...
Yeah, so that was...
Oh my god.
That was that. But listen, as silly as my synopsis was and non-informative, this is a very entertaining movie because it is very funny. And I think even if you've never seen it before, I feel like you're gonna laugh because there's like the kids do a good job. And I'm telling you, man, just Chunk, like...
He was the best.
Chunk is the best. The best.
So they all had like an annoying characteristic because they like hammered it home. But I felt like Chunk's arc was the best. So they all stayed the same. And then he was the only one that had to really like go deep. And he nailed it. He nailed it.
He's so great. There's a one scene where...
God, wait, which one? Because I have my favorite Chunk scene I want to talk about.
The one where they go in the restaurant. So like they get to the place and then they're like kind of sneak in, and then Fratelli's like catch them right away and they're like, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, this is a restaurant. So they sit down, and then Mikey is like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And the lady's like, can't you hold it? And he's like, no, ma'am. And I'm like, Mikey, like, this is life or death. Make a choice. And Chunk gets up and he goes, Mikey, this isn't the kind of place you want to go to the bathroom. And then the lady's like, why not? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, and then he looks behind him, and there's literally, the guys are carrying, like, a dead body, like, right there. And Chunk, again, is the only one paying attention, and he's like, well, there could be, like, you know, old things, and he's like, and dead things, Mikey, there could be dead things out here. And the way that he just, like, reacts, it was so funny. I was like, that's impressive. That's impressive for a middle school kid to be able to do, because honestly, I've seen adults who can't act like that. So, well done.
Also,
Chunk.
I feel like you get very mad at, like, the kid actors. I don't know if you've noticed this.
Well, they're easy to make fun of.
For example, School of Rock, you were very mad at one of the
Well, they were not actors, so I will stand by that in court. I will.
But that says so much for Chunk that you are, like, praising him because you're tough.
I felt like everyone did a good job. It was just like he was the best character.
Oh, yeah. My favorite scene with him was when they catch him, the Fratellis, and they're like, tell us where your friends are. Tell me. He's like, okay. And then he proceeds to tell his whole life story of secrets, where he's like, in 4th grade, I cheated on my math test, and the worst thing I ever did is I took fake throw up to the movie theater, and I made this noise. He just keeps making the noise, and he's like, and then the people thought it was real, and they started throwing up, and then everyone started throwing up, and I couldn't believe I did it to the whole movie theater. And, like, literally the Fratellis just have their mouth open, and they're like, I kind of like this kid now. Yeah. And all I could think about was Stand By Me, the blueberry pie eating contest where everyone's throwing up on everybody. And I remember thinking, what a unique story. And I'm like, well, just a year earlier, Chunk, who's not getting credit, is the one who started.
Stephen King, do you have a confession to make? Oh, I have the hiccups.
Already?
All right, so...
Well, we were just praising Chunk and how
as always.
Stand By Me stole from Chunk's story. There's a part of me that you did it in the synopsis where you're going through each character.
Yeah.
And a part of me, like, wouldn't mind talking about each character, or we could go line by line.
No, I like the character.
Okay, so... if we start with Mikey.
Okay.
What a baby. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I'm not gonna lie, Kate, he pulled a Rudy moment and he pulled a Lord of the Rings moment.
Woo!
And I was just like, here you are, like age 13, and you're gonna be destined for these movies you have no idea is coming, but you are doing it now.
What was the Lord of the Rings moment?
Like, he was taking them on an adventure, and they had the map, and he was leading the way!
Oh, I love that. I love that. Can you make me a promise, Bridge? Here on air, on our edited air that I edit.
yes, live. Yes, Katie,
Can
live.
you promise me we will do at least the first Lord of the Rings movie at some point, one day on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do have the next pick, so.
Don't tempt me like that. Don't you do that to me.
Katie's face is really close to the screen.
You can only see my eyeballs right now because I'm so serious.
Very intimidating.
Okay.
But he gives some heartfelt speeches.
Yes. He's like the Jack Black motivational speaker, number 1. Number 2, I also I don't know. Other times, I guess I never, paid too much attention to this, but this time around, I kind of was like, wow, you seem to really have a lot of these fake conversations with a dead pirate man who is dead and can't talk back, and there's a lot going on, and then he gets really emotional at the end. That was my Bob scene, honestly, because I was like, what the f***?
Well, and then the movie doesn't end. So it's really weird where you're like, okay, here's the ending. And it's like, we got 15 minutes left. And you're like, okay. So awkward, Mikey.
No, but he cries. He cries when he finally gets to meet this dead skeleton that he's been talking to in his brain, but saying out loud. That doesn't answer because he's dead.
Okay. Here's some fun facts for you.
Oh God, give it to me.
When he's in the attic, and he's retelling the whole One-Eyed Willie story, the director, what's the guy's name?
Steven Spielberg.
No, there's another director for this, is Richard Donner.
Okay.
And Richard Donner, he told him the story, and then Sean Astin, right? He was like, okay, I got it. And then he goes, we're rolling. What did I just say? And so he just improvised that whole attic scene where he was like, and then what, Willie, and then with the thing, and so like, what talent!
Wow. That's cool.
But here's the thing that I was like, watching it, like, as an older person, I was like, you're like really obsessed with finding One-Eyed Willie, and you're like kind of making it about saving your parents, but like, you're also a 13-year-old boy and finding treasure would be cool, but now you're obsessed with One-Eyed Willie, and we've just learned about him from your random story that you never thought of. It's not like we grew up and you're like a pirate person who's obsessed. Like, where did you get this obsession from? And like, and he was, I mean, how many times they could have gone up the wishing well and like been saved because murderers are chasing them, and he's like, guys, and he gives the Rudy speech, and you're like, this kid, I don't know.
I agree with you, because I was like, he literally was like, we shouldn't go in the attic ever. And then he's up there, he's like, oh my God, you guys, thank God we're here, because I was keeping this story inside and I had to let it out. I'm like,
and then Josh Brolin's like, man, we never come up here. We don't even know what our dad does. We don't know what's happening. And I guess because we're moving tomorrow, which, by the way, nothing's packed.
Yeah. Don't worry, they got Rosalita for that. That'll help.
Do you know who that actress was?
No.
Do you know what other movie she was in?
Was it a movie we did?
No.
Oh,
the movie Selena?
Yeah?
Okay, you know the, like, lady that kills Selena? That's who plays her.
Rosalita! No!
So now it doesn't make you feel so bad that Mouth was saying dirty stuff to her in Spanish.
Rosalita also almost got run over in the beginning. Did you see that?
Yes.
I was like, why is Rosalita getting on?
Yeah, we definitely needed to help Rosalita. That's for sure. But then she killed Selena, so what are we going to do about that? So that was like for Mikey's character, I was like, okay, like you're like really, really intense about this whole thing. But, you know, it's an adventure, and I guess the whole movie was trying to be like, we want one last adventure. Goonies never die, yeah. And it was just molded in with all these other themes that were like convenience, because
he had to be the like, we gotta keep going guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I did like in the beginning how he initially was like, I'm not gonna miss this place, whatever, and he's trying to like put on a front. He's like, this place is boring. And then Josh Brolin is like, I'm sad too. And he's like, yeah, I'm sad, brother. And I was like, wow. And then like, there's just other times like that where I was like, that's cute. Because that
they
is,
were
I
cute
think,
together.
And it was nice to just see like their sibling, like, you know,
it was cute
with brothers.
I mean, as sisters, we appreciate some good bonding. Am I right?
Brothers, yes. Brothers who's singing it.
Okay, so Josh Brolin then is training for Thanos with his workout.
Good thing, because he doesn't become Thanos for like 30 years. So like, good choice, brother.
First of all, what a little like, I don't know how old he was in this movie, but what like a cutie pie.
You should look it up, because I want to know if it's like illegal for me to say he was cute or not. Because he was cute. He was cute! He was cute. I'm like, you are a hunk. Why are you considered like a nerd to like, that confused me.
He was 17. So
all right.
Keep it in the cute, adorable.
Let me rephrase. High school Katie thought he was hot. How about that?
There you go.
Okay.
Yes. Oh my God, I got all their ages. This is hysterical.
Wow, so he was an actual like 17-year-old playing an appropriate age kid. That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I mean, the other younger kids were definitely younger, you could
14, 11, 14.
Who was 11?
Chunk.
Oh, and he was the best.
He was the best. Oh. Okay, let's talk about a scene that is also really, really dark with Josh Brolin. One of the Bob scenes is, I think, him stealing a tricycle from, like, a little girl.
I'm pretty sure that little girl was supposed to be Data's sister, or at least that's who I thought it was, because they were neighbors. And then she's not there on the beach when Data gets found, so I don't know who owns the little girl, but, like...
Horrible storyline that he... Like, why couldn't there not be a girl, and he just takes the tricycle that's like on the side of the house, like really. So then Troy, who, wow, we gotta dedicate time to Troy.
Troy was the equivalent to Chuck from Footloose. They are one in the same.
Wow.
One in the same.
But I'm going to add this cherry on top from 10 Things I Hate About You. He had a little bit of the Andrew
Keegan.
He had a little bit of the like, Daddy, I'm rich. Here's my varsity jacket. Daddy.
Jeez, Bianca, I'm shooting a nose ad tomorrow.
Okay, so then Troy shows up in the car and basically tries to murder him on a tricycle.
He tries to murder him with 2 witnesses there.
And they're both like, Troy, stop it! I was like, okay, again, actually, this is giving me some Footloose vibes when she was trying to kill herself. I've forgotten all their names. What was her name in Footloose? Jesus, Bridget. We just did that. Ariel. That scene felt really weird to me because it was a little too long that it made me uncomfortable, like he was seriously hurt. And then he flies into the woods and somehow is fine. No one talks about it again. We don't even see him like at all hurt. He just pops right up.
Well, he does have a little scratch on his face. Because Andy's like, oh my God, your face. And he's like, it's fine. And that's it. And you're like, You're like, Andy, you were there and you did nothing. If anything, third wheel girl, whatever her name was that I already forgot, even though that was said a couple minutes ago. Steph, if anything, Steph should have jumped over and helped out there because, like, you can move around in that back seat, girl. I don't understand.
I agree.
Troy was scary, so maybe, like, we're afraid.
He was scary. Troy literally deserves, like, 10 seconds because I bet you Steven Spielberg looks back and he's like, oh, I, like, overkilled that character.
Was Troy the guy who was sitting on the toilet when it exploded?
Yes, and he literally screamed, Daddy! And I don't it's, wow.
Okay, so here's a question. Why did Troy wear a leotard on the toilet?
I think that was his workout clothes in the 80s.
Okay, well,
they were at a country club.
A lot of things were covered, and usually those things are uncovered on a toilet, and I was confused.
He just, first of all, and then remember when, like, Andy's jacket, they pull up from the well, and, like, which is such a weird scene, and he's like, Andy! I'm like, why are you just, like, screaming like a weird baby man-child? Like,
also,
ew.
He knows, like, who the Goonies are, as if they're, like, this cool gang in the town. And I was like, why do you know what a group of, like, middle schoolers call themselves? Troy?
Goonie.
Let me know. You Goonie! I was like, okay. And then he ended up, again, I don't think I remember the ending very well, because I was like, wait, why the f*** is Troy here? Troy's dad was the one that was trying to foreclose on all the home. So Troy's like, hurry up and sign. We got places to be this morning. I was like, what? Troy, what? You want to talk about it? What's going on?
Mouth? Okay. Like,
okay.
He has like the one somewhat of like an interesting monologue scene where they're in the wishing well and he gets really mad that that's not the final gold and they have to put the wishes back. They're people's wishes, people's dreams. And then he goes, yeah, but this right here, this is my wish. This is my dream that didn't come true. And you're like, Corey Feldman needs to go to a therapist ASAP from this monologue.
My eyebrows during that scene were raised very high and
he's crying for help.
Corey, how's it gone? I know, like, you're probably, like, wet and cold, like, being down here, like, 80 takes, who knows? But, like, this is, like, was this in the scripts? Because I'm concerned. Like, that scene made no sense to me. I was like, are you alluding to, like, your house? Or, like, something else? We don't know. We'll never know, because it's never fleshed out, because you're Corey Feldman and you just, like, get the weird roles, so. Such
weird roles. And then you're right. No one ever addressed why does he speak Spanish as like a 13-year-old.
No, I sure don't.
But he does make Chunk do the truffle shuffle and like you needed him to be the poker. He was the instigator and that's he made him do the truffle shuffle.
Oh, He did. I mean, he was funny,
yes.
like most times, because he just kept talking and like being like a smart. Like sometimes that's funny, not all the time, but like sometimes.
Yes, he was a good balance, I think, to the group.
Is there anything else you want to say about Mouth, or perhaps a familial story relating to Mouth?
You mean about you?
We don't have to use names, but like it's embarrassing, but it's funny, and I'm like older now, so we can all laugh about it. So we might as well make it public.
You should tell it then, and I could tell you how the family took it.
Okay.
So,
listeners, Katie, throughout basically most of high school and early college, I was a serial dater, very aggressive dater, had many boyfriends. Many of those boyfriends I should not have had because they sucked. So in college, freshman year, I thought it was a great idea to get in a relationship with a guy I met one night in person who actually went to a college that was 5 hours away, and he was 3 years older than me, so I didn't really know him, but we dated. So he decided to come visit one time. I think it was my birthday. I think it was like around my birthday.
Winter break or something?
Sure. And he stayed at our house.
Oh my God, Kate.
I don't even remember the
chain
of events, but...
So as a result of him staying over, you didn't get up at the same time as him. And so he just like rolled up to the kitchen, and we were all like having coffee and like eggs, and he was actually Mouth. Like he never shut the literal up.
Didn't he say to you guys, he's like, yeah, my friends and I, we call ourselves the Goonies. Guess which one I am? And wasn't Dad like, is it Mouth? And he was like, yeah. And Dad was like, oh, I was kidding. Like... And I don't think I was there for that. Or if I was, I died of embarrassment and blacked out because I hate it all.
Kate, you should have dated Chunk. Are you like, hey, who is Chunk?
Wait, which one's that? Can I meet him? What's happening?
Oh my God, I can't believe you brought this up. That's an old memory.
Listeners, sometimes you're 19 and you're an idiot. What can you say? All right, so we're going to move on from Mouth.
We're going to move on from Mouth.
That was
because he's, yeah. Okay, we've obviously professed our love for Chunk. I don't know how much more we have to talk about him. Data. Let's talk about Data's entry scene, and was he trying to pull a Girl Interrupted? Because he literally jumped from his entire house. And zip line to the other house, and I kept thinking, is this kid gonna kill himself?
Well, but technically we saw him in the beginning chase scenes where he is alone in a junkyard, and he is, I don't know what's happening, but he like does something with his gadgets, and it's like a little sticky gun, and it like sticks to a trash can. He's like, yeah, it worked! And then it like pulls him closer to the trash can, and then he falls in.
But here's the thing, like, okay, Chunk always dropped everything, always ran into everything. Data's little gadgets sometimes worked really well.
Yes.
Like, saved his literal life.
I would say even the other characters, too. Like, the slick shoes thing.
Slick shoes!
I was like, that was smart, Data. Like, good for you, And they were all like, slick shoes? Don't do that! And I was like, shut up, guys. You guys went ahead of Data, and nobody, like, held his hand or nothing. So, like,
Data's thinking about the community. You're all thinking about yourselves.
Exactly. Data was trying to be a hero. So, yeah. And then, like, I wrote a notes. I don't know where it is in my notes, but somewhere in my notes, I was like, yo, Data got that Joker style punch and arm gun, whatever. And that's pretty cool. Except it did punch him in the face towards the end. So I was like, wait, this worked fine.
I just had this vision of Data becoming the Joker.
That would be amazing. Okay, somebody can definitely edit scenes of Goonies and cross-reference it with Joker 1989.
They have to.
You know when the scene would be that he becomes the Joker? Do you remember that scene where they finally make it to the, like, pirate ship and Data, like, falls through the floor and then everyone's like, Data, you should have used the stairs. And then he goes on this whole, like, awkward, angry monologue about how, like, he should have used the stairs, I guess. But it's, like, in the background, and I was like, is he okay? And he just keeps talking for, like, 2 minutes straight, and then we all just move on. That's when he would have gone crazy.
1000%, and I wrote, Data screams everything in third person and goes on an invention tirade.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, okay, this is cool.
But he was a good character too, but he definitely, like, I don't know, he was more of the action adventure, like, saves the day. Dialogue-wise, I mean, he didn't have, like his personality was in the gadgets, and you're like, well, that's kind of annoying. I wish he had, like, something.
Yeah. It was so interesting, because at the end of the movie, where they're all, like, reuniting with his families, he's, like, the one that they actually focus somewhat more, I would argue, of a scene of him reuniting with his family, where, like, he says something, I'm assuming in Japanese, and I apologize if I'm getting the language wrong, because it's very possible I am, but I feel like it was potentially Japanese. But he says something where he's basically like, oh, Dad, you know, being with you in person is nothing compared to a photo or something. And then the dad says this really sweet comment where he's like, you're the best invention, you know, I've ever, like, made. And you're like, that's cute. Like, I guess you guys like inventing? Is that it? Is there anything else we should? Okay, that's it. That's all that's it.
Yeah. Okay, let me do some corrections here. So,
please do.
Chinese.
Thank you for correcting me. Okay.
And it's just racist. I mean, like, it's just, like, the character,
it's very racist.
That's all you got, you know, whatever. I'll be honest, like, it was kind of cool, but you didn't know, like, why he was doing all these gadgets. Like,
yes.
It was the same with, like, why is Mikey so obsessed with getting the treasure? Like, you kind of knew it, but you kind of didn't, and he could have just gotten a little more backstory. So, the 80s have a lot to work on there.
They do.
Let's get to the ladies, who really just, at this point, we need to just get past them because it's so bad. Their characters are so bad.
Yeah.
Andy kisses
a middle schooler.
That's
illegal.
Why do we have this scene besides, like, to waste time, which they didn't have, and this movie was long enough?
Because the screenwriters were males and they thought it was funny. That's my final answer, Alex.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. You're on to the bonus round. No thought was put into it.
Yep, it was weak.
And then I was like, okay, so Andy is in a car with Troy. So what, she's like dating Troy, but then he kept looking up my shirt, or looking down my shirt.
She was like, he's looking down my shirt, but then, like, in his mirror, he was looking, like, at her thighs. And I was like, I
hated it.
All of it's gross, Andy, but, like, use your eyeballs better. Something's not lining up here.
So, and then she was like, I kicked him in the groin or something. And you're like, yeah. Okay. But now are you still going on a date with Josh Brolin? Because, like, did you not want to because he didn't get his license? Like,
She was wearing Troy's jacket for, like, half the movie. I was like, Andy, you're literally trying to make out with Josh Brolin. Like, you gotta pick a side.
That would be like if you were on a date with your old mouth and you were wearing Chunk's jacket. Like, it would be so rude.
I mean, that might be something I do. Whoopsie.
Hey. So, part of her whole character was what is brainwashed into us women, which is, you're only there for the love interest. You can't be there for the adventure, or, I don't know, trying to, like, save their lives from, like, criminals that are killing people and have fled jail. Okay, fine. All that she offered in this entire movie was that she could play the piano.
Yes.
Right?
That's about it.
What else? She didn't do anything else.
She played the piano and then she grabbed the map when they ran away from the piano. So
There you go. And the only other character, Steph, who no one remembers the name, did nothing. If she wasn't there, nothing else would change.
Listen, they needed a love interest or something for Mouth.
Oh.
I guess.
Why?
I don't know why. Mouth is, I assume, 13, so I have questions about everything.
I don't even know. I'm looking up their ages, and apparently she was 15 then. But I don't know.
Sorry.
But I don't know who they were trying to play, because Corey Feldman was 14, but like in the film, Corey was like, 13, playing like a 13-year-old, and she was playing like a 17-year-old, right?
Yeah, I got the sense she was like high school, like later high school.
Which, like, so gross.
That scene at the end where they're like, Corey's like, hey, so like, you know, we made it out. And she was like, wow, you know, you have a great voice. Like when your mouth isn't screwing it up.
Oh,
and then he goes,
this down.
He goes, you're really pretty when your face isn't screwing it up. And I was like, okay, so are we going to end in like punching? Like, who's going to punch first? And then nobody did, and they hugged. And I was like, this is toxic.
Beyond toxic.
Not good.
Oh, I didn't write down. Oh, here we go. I wrote down Andy's comment to Mikey. Do you remember that?
Where she was like, hey, Mikey, you're a great kisser. Keep it up. And I was like, huh. Like, she wrote, not okay.
Okay, so we forgot about his other personality, which was he has asthma, and so he has to, like, use an inhaler.
Okay, but that was honestly, like, backstory and, like, second to his love affair with One-Eyed Willie, so we all forgot, because it's not important.
Josh Brolin's one job was not to let him leave the house because of his asthma, and then he, like, went on a high-speed chase and was fine. Okay, fine. And so Andy, she was alluding to his asthma, where she goes, the parts of you that don't work so good will catch up to the parts of you that do.
Wait, but do you think she meant his asthma, or do you think she meant like he hasn't gone through puberty yet and like...
I don't know, but I hated it. So like the women offer nothing, and then they're basically like pedophiles? Why?
Yeah. Ugh. They were both like that. Ew.
I hated it. Okay, we didn't talk about the best character ever.
Sloth.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, baby Ruth? Ruth, baby.
I was talking about this with James, and he's like, how about that for product placement? And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't like put that together, but like, duh.
I noticed a couple product placements in this movie. They, like, besides that one, the other ones were more subtle. There was like a Diet Pepsi that like Mouth was like holding like in a commercial where he's like, hey, Mikey, we can't go on an adventure. I was like, okay, that's too much. And then at the end, when we have to talk more detail about this, but I'm going to say it super quick. When Chunk's family rolls up with a pizza and they go, we brought your favorite Domino's. And I was like, is this a commercial in the 80s? Because what are we doing?
Do you know that was Chunk's real mom?
Oh my God, I love that. Oh, I love hearing that. That makes me so happy. Oh, I mean, I'm not happy she brought Domino's because, like, was it worth it? Was it worth it, Steven Spielberg? Because what is going on? What's happening?
Oh my God.
There was a lot of product placement, but you're right. The Baby Ruth, I was like, wow, okay, guys.
Okay, so backstory on Sloth. Because I do think this is interesting. So, John Matsuyak.
Okay.
He was a professional football player. And he's like 6'8". That's why Sloth is this big giant.
Is this the guy who played Sloth?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The actor.
And to get that look, it was like 5 to 6 hours of makeup every day. So some Jim Carrey, like Grinch action there in terms of like getting set up. And the lower eyeball had like electronics in it. So they kept having, with like all the water scenes, having to like touch him up all the time or like stop a scene or redo a scene. But that character or that person had like a really sad life because he was like kind of hooked on drugs, and he died like 3 years later.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he had like a wild and fast life, but everybody said he was like a really sweet guy with kids. And Jeff Cohen, who's Chunk, was always like, I loved him so much. And you're like,
I bet that was best friend.
I know. And I'm like, I bet that was like sad for all those Goonies that he died like 3 years later, the height of this movie. Like, oh, that's kind of sad, you know?
Because they were probably still like young when that happened. Yeah.
But I also think of like Gollum, which, here we go again.
Okay.
But just like the setup and I guess you don't do the makeup for Gollum.
I was like,
but the effort to be that like kind of the deformed human monster type role. But I kind of kept thinking like, is this appropriate? Like, are we like making fun of deformed people? Because like, I hate this a lot.
You know, a little bit of it. Again, it did feel a little exploitive.
Yeah.
You know, because you think, okay, obviously they wanted some type of character who was connected to the bad guys, but wasn't actually bad. So I guess the only way they thought they could do that was to have it be some kind of guy that was deformed that they tied up. I guess. But like,
it's such a weird, and I couldn't find anything. I'm like, where did you come up with this? Why is he chained to the wall? Why do they hate him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, the mobster trope, whatever. We got it. Actually, I thought the mom was pretty good.
She was great.
She was pretty good.
I loved her little, like, French beret or whatever. I don't know why she wore it, but she was rocking it. So go girl.
But, like, they could have had him not deformed as just, like, the really crazy one.
Yeah. You're right. If he was, like, really ridiculous and they were like, we just gotta tie him up because we don't know, he's a loose cannon.
Yeah,
and then Chunk turned him because, like, Chunk's the best. I would have believed it.
And then Data goes off as the Joker and starts losing it at everybody, and then Chunk and Sloth have to turn everyone around as like Batman.
And I was gonna say, and then Sloth becomes Batman instead of Superman because where did he get a Superman shirt? Who bought it for him? Because he ain't going to the store and there's no eBay. So what's going on?
I don't know, but the chemistry between Chunk and Sloth is
amazing.
And like the first scene when he's stuck back there, Chunk, and he meets him, and he goes to give him the baby Ruth, and it hits him in the forehead when he throws it to him. Katie, I laughed. So I was like, I'm a little kid laughing that I got hit. And he breaks the chains off the wall, and Chunk goes, wow, you're really hungry, man.
My notes for that, I was like, same, Sloth, same.
But you knew that then they were going in after them, and he was like, Sloth, don't go down there. It's just your echo or something. And it was just like hysterical watching those two like follow everybody behind. Yes. But the best is when he like jumped on the sail from the TV show he was watching, and Chunk was on his back. Like, what was happening?
That was like Twilight style, hold on spider monkey, we going down. Also, did you notice they were wearing little child pirate hats? Where'd they come from? I love it.
Did they steal them from like the skeletons?
I don't care.
Like, okay.
I don't care. I don't even care because I'll let it slide because it was so funny. I was like, that is the smallest little pirate hat. Like, you went to Party City and I love it.
So, I love it,
was
so hard.
Great. Yeah, that was great. There could not have been any other kid that got connected with Sloth. It 100%. Wouldn't have worked. It would not have been as good if it was not Chunk. He had a very good morality meter. Chunk did. So I think that's why I liked him, because I was like, you're like a normal person.
Well, and he very much was like, listen, let's get some ice cream.
Yeah.
You're different, I'm different, but we all like ice cream. Let's do this.
The best part is like the whole, after they like ride their bikes and get to the restaurant, whatever, Chunk keeps being like, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, blah, blah, blah. He keeps like hyping this up. And then there's the whole thing where like they have he's gonna get his hand put in the blender. And then he eats the ice cream. He's like eating the ice cream. He's like, I told you guys that they were down there and you didn't believe me. And then they take the ice cream away and he starts crying. So I was like, oh, Chunk's so hungry. Like, poor guy. Like, we all know what it's like to be hangry. And then the scene, he gets a Sloth and he whips out a candy bar. He goes, you want a candy bar? I've had this in my pocket the whole time. I was like, Chunk? something's happening because like you were confused.
Chunk like literally created the Snickers commercial of like,
you're not you when you're hungry, Sloth. You're not you. So take this baby Ruth, break your chains, take your baby Ruth, get a little mini pirate hat, get out there.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh boy.
But I think just if we were to give props, not necessarily to people, but to scenes, I thought the water slide scene was so cool. And I dreamed of like, where is that ride? Can I go on it? Okay. Where is it? Where is it?
You are literally reading my mind because I don't know if I wrote this in my notes, but I had a thought where I was like, Universal Studios, I am disappointed at you because you did not decide to create a Goonies ride, and this could have been your opportunity. It doesn't even need to be a water slide. It could just be like a slide. It could be like a 3D. I don't even care. Like, give me something, because there is so much material in this movie to turn into a ride.
First of all, I read that a company built that for them, like a water slide building company built that for them.
Oh
so
my
God! Where is it? I want to go. I will pay money. I want to go. That looks so fun.
Who owns it? Oh my God.
Oh my God. And then you just go into this big thing and you see a pirate ship. How cool. I would wait for an hour for that.
They also somehow like ended up coming out of different like holes.
Oh, so cool.
And I was like, I don't even care to question it because it was a fun time.
So cool.
So I am all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the pirate scene was cool. You get to see the pirate ship, and
yeah, it was cool. But the treasure scene was like, it wasn't as big of a reveal as the wishing well. Like the wishing well, you were like, "Whoa, you're rich." This scene was like, wait, is this the treasure? Should we be excited? And then eventually they were all like, wow, jewels. I was like, this took a while.
But you know why it was downplayed? Because Mikey was having his weird romantic confession to One-Eyed Willie, who, just want to remind everyone in case you forgot, is a dead skeleton who cannot talk or hear. And then Mikey cried. And then everyone saw him and he was like, oh, did you guys hear that? And Josh Brolin goes, we heard enough, Mikey. And I was like, Josh, you better, when you guys get home, you better call someone because we need some help out here. Something's happening.
He's like, I think your asthma's acting up.
Yeah, it was weird. That was weird.
And then they make him walk the plank and it just gets weird. But somehow they get out because Sloth basically lifts the giant rock and, whatever. The thing that I thought was strange is that, so it's night-ish time when they go on this adventure.
Yeah.
And then when they get out, it's the morning. So you're like, wait, there was like maybe 3 different booby trap like sequences? You're telling me that took like 9 hours?
Sure.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know time. They all had to climb through Sloth's legs to get out, so that was a bonding experience for all. And then Chunk was like, Sloth! Come on, Sloth! And Sloth's like, Sloth love Chunk. And I was like, same, as do I.
I really want someone to make a meme of him holding up a baby Ruth instead of the rock. It's like him being like, ah!
They all had to climb under a baby Ruth. There was like, oh my God, amazing. This just attests to how awesome Sloth was, though, because he was such a good person that he decided to still save his mother and his 2 brothers who literally abused him and admitted to it on camera. And he was like, I guess I'll still save them because, I don't know, PG movie, let's do it.
Yeah, he's a great guy. That's Sloth.
And then he gets adopted by Chunk.
But he's getting Domino's, Kate, so woo!
I was like, first of all, let me do some first of alls up in here. These 2 cops find them on the beach. In 1 second, all our families are here. But Chunk's family decided that it was more important to stop at Domino's at like 7 in the morning and get a box of pizza because it's his favorite. / Domino's paid us money for a product placement, so we've got to do it.
Oh,
right.
So good.
Okay.
It's so, so good. Okay, Kate, now I know if you were living at home, this would be a kick-ass dad quote.
So, it's been a while, but I did get a dad quote.
Oh my Goonie goodness.
Yes.
I am about to open it now.
All right. So, our movie this week was The Goonies.
Hey, you guys. That's all I remember when he comes swinging off the thing there.
Iconic.
And the Fratelli brothers. Hey, we used to eat pizza there. I don't understand that.
I'm glad you referenced that.
Oh, he referenced Fratelli's Pizza Place. Wow.
Thank God, because whoa.
Oh my God. It kind of sounded like him when he screamed, "Hey, you guys!" He's got like the low voice. I'm like, wow, Dad, are you Sloth?
Are you gonna swing on a rope into a pirate ship with a Superman shirt underneath?
You know, if you looked into some like old home videos and like old pictures, like Dad would wear shirts like that.
Well,
so there you go.
Something's happening. Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie, like I have a movie pick for you, but like maybe we got inspired in the middle of this episode that I should just pick another movie pick.
Bridget, you do whatever you feel is right.
Well, I'm gonna go with my gut on this one.
Okay.
This is not a fan pick. Taking a little breather from fan picks, listener picks, whatever you want to call it. And I think the inspiration came from this episode. Okay, we're doing an epic high fantasy novel by the one, the only J.R.R. Tolkien. Set Middle Earth, the world at some distant time in the past, the story becomes Lord of the Rings.
Which one?
The first
Fellowship
one?
of the Ring.
Okay.
That's the first. Okay. It's the first one.
Is it the worst one? Which
no,
one
it's the
we watch?
first one. It's the worst one. There is no worst one that does not exist. They're all the best ones. But Return of the King is the best. But like this one's great.
Okay, the Fellowship of the Ring.
But like, are you ready for this?
No, I'm not.
I don't think you are.
It's gonna be like me learning Spanish from mouth. Like I'm not gonna know what the words mean and what's happening.
Okay, because like one of my favorite movies.
Really? I had a totally different pick, but I'm just feeling this. And you know what? Willow was so fun. And I know this is a... Wait,
sorry.
I know it's different, but like...
Are you making a Hobbit connection or like a fantasy? Like what? Where are we connecting? Where are we connecting? Okay.
They like go on this, like they go like through mountains and valleys and adventures and they're with a ragtag group. I don't know. There's mystical fairies. I don't know. You don't think of Lord of the Rings? Is that not?
Have you seen Lord of the Rings? Ever? You're half right. All right, yes, we're gonna learn this
but not on your like nerd level.
No, it's not. I will try so hard to tone it down.
You don't have to tone anything down. I'm just not gonna know as much as you. But like Katie, I have eyes. I could watch the movie and figure it out.
It is honestly. This is what I will say. I will say this preemptively, and then I will rewatch it, and we'll see if this holds up. But I will tell you, listeners, I really, truly, in my heart of hearts, feel that these movies, and I know we're only watching the one right now, but I do feel like these movies hold up. Ooh. And I mean that in terms of story, and in terms of acting, and in terms of effects. I mean that. So we'll see if that's something Bridget agrees with next time.
Well, and these are long movies, right?
They are. They're a commitment. Probably the only commitment Katie can do in her life right now, so...
Are you Data? As you speak in third person?
Yes.
All right, well, we're going to have to record this in like 3 weeks after I'm done watching.
It's under 3 hours. It's 2 hours, 58 minutes.
Okay, Kate.
But it's 8.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Listen, I did really love this movie. Actually, this movie's like kind of intense.
Yes.
But I'm down. I'm down for some like adventure. I'll be honest, like Goonies like gave me a little bit of a little tickle, if you will, on the adventure.
Gotta go on an adventure.
Let's just keep going.
We're gonna hear Sean Austin. He's not gonna be talking about One-Eyed Willies, thank God.
Well,
that would be weird.
Up. Like he had to go through Rudy and get that out of his system, you know?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm excited. Woo!
Bring your rings.
I will.
Bring your golems. Is that this movie? No. Is that at this movie?
He is in this movie, but like a cameo, not like character.
Okay. Oh my God.
Amazing.
Well, honestly, like Kate, I love you like Chunk and Sloth love each other. That's how much I love you.
Sloth loves Chunk. And then Chunk goes, "You're gonna stay with me now."
No!
That's how much I love you, Bridget. I would adopt you. Even if I didn't know you were, ask my parents. Because I love you.
I love you so much that I would learn how to play the piano so you got out of the booby trap.
Booty trap. It's a booty trap.
That's what I said.
A booty trap. I love that.
Oh, I love all of you.
Well, listeners, we'll see y'all next week for Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. First book, first movie, under 3 hours, unless it's extended, then it's
by
over.
Under 3 hours, she means by 2 minutes.
Yes, which is under 3, if we're getting technical, if you want to get technical. So, be excited.
I'm jazzed.
Woo!
See you there, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love you.
I love you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswho'veseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.